Hello everyone, hope you're all well and thanks very much for all the support with my videos. Today I'm on the banks of the Grand Canal, and as you can see the amount of barriers and barricades that have been erected back in May in response to the placing of tents from people claiming international protection, stroke economical migrants. And this was decided upon, according to Waterways Ireland, to place these barricades here at the cost of up to €30,000 per week. Absolutely astronomical amount of public money that's being wasted to put these prohibitive and disgraceful barriers on the banks of one of Dublin's nicest spots, the Grand Canal, and historic spots here in Dublin. We've seen huge waste of public money on this as well, and these quangos operating off their own interests, at the interests as well of the Irish political establishment, who aren't willing to address the crisis that they've created themselves. And with their crisis, they'll come down and try and clamp down on basic people's rights. Today there's upwards of 40 tents along the banks of the Grand Canal. Again, it's not dealing with the crises. Waterways Ireland, who I contacted a number of times around this, haven't replied back, but said they will look at this in October in terms of having a long-term view of what they're going to plan around this. There was no major issues with it. The money will be better served by actually regenerating the Grand Canal rather than putting up these prohibitive barriers. But of course there's plenty of money to make in the immigration industry by commercial property owners, by big bosses in terms of cheap labour, and not to mention the companies now supplying these barriers. Yesterday was a protest held not too far away from here at the Department of Integration, and during that protest there was a couple of comments made regarding the fact that local people were not consulted in the constituency around the erection of these barriers, which I fully agree with, and they have quite a bit of agreement with the people who aren't being consulted about the immigration chaos in terms of lack of services in their communities, lack of integration, lack of resources, and no consultation. This has happened most recently, we've seen in Dundrum, County Tipperary, with the imposition of upwards of 400 to 500 international protection applicants, and not to mention we've seen the protests in Coolock and many more locations around Ireland, and in particular working class communities that are most impacted, disenfranchised because of these decisions by the political establishment, and demonstrates that they don't care about the interests of ordinary people, they don't care about democracy, they don't care about consultation, they don't care about basic services and resources for ordinary people. All they care about is bolstering the profits of the super rich, the wealthy, the billionaires, and punching down on working class people. And it also again demonstrates their servility to the bureaucrats in Brussels rather than the interests of ordinary people. And as you can see along here in the Grand Canal today, it's like running the gauntlet all the way up as far as Harold's Cross, which is about 2 or 3 kilometres from here. And not to mention the issues around how quiet it is today as well on a Sunday, where it's normally very busy with people out enjoying a little bit of late summer sunshine along, as I said, the banks of the Grand Canal. And just up a few steps up from here is where Patrick Kavanagh famously sat, famous Irish poet in County Monaghan, who lived close by up in Raglan Road for a time, and famous for that song Raglan Road in Irish cultural history, sang so brilliantly by Luke Kelly of the Dubliners. We need an Ireland that stands up for the needs of ordinary people, where people are listened to, people are heard, and people's views are central to the decision making process. And it demonstrates the dramatic amounts and dramatic democratic deficit within Irish society, where we bow down to bureaucrats in Brussels rather than serve the interests of ordinary people. We need to put the interests of ordinary people first, rather than the interests of the super rich and wealthy that the bureaucrats in Brussels represent. So thanks for all the support on my videos, really appreciate them. Just wanted to show you a quick walk around here. As I said, a number of protesters took down a few barricades here yesterday, but of course Gardaí were there in force to put them back up, and it demonstrates again the whole nonsensical approach around this. It's absolutely disgraceful and absolutely nonsense in a city that we all love, in a country that we all love, and this is allowed to continue because they're more interested in creating chaos. And this is how they address the problems that they themselves have helped create. So thanks for the support. Please press subscribe to my YouTube channel. Take care. Slán.